RuneScape has a lot of items you may have never even heard of, or you may have forgotten even existed. In this video, we are going to be going through 10 items that you can obtain in-game right now that you may have either forgotten existed, or have never even heard of them in the first place. Now, I'm not saying that nobody will have heard of any of these items. Of course, someone will have heard of some of them, and some of them are achievements in game to get. So some people will definitely have some of these, but that doesn't mean you necessarily have them right now or even remember that they existed. So what are these items? Let's find out. First up is the Holy Cithara. This is an item that you can get after completing the quest 1 Piercing Node. This is in the Abbey, which is east of Citharede, and you can go down into the basement after completing the quest and you can pick this Holy Cithara up. However, to do this, you do have to have some very specific requirements. To obtain the Holy Cithara, you have to be on the standard spell book, be on standard prayer book, and have full prayer points, and you have to have 100% runner energy as well. You're not allowed to have a follower summoned. You have to have an empty inventory, but you also have to have these following items equipped: a ring of visibility, a ghost speak amulet or cramulet, and 6 pieces of acceptable Saradomin equipment that the player owns. So you have to have all of these requirements met, and I will put on screen all of the items, or I'll link in the description the link to each wiki page for these items, and you can go and find that list, and then you can pick this up. If you don't meet the requirements, what's going to happen is when you try to take it, your life points will be reduced to 1. So you need to match all these requirements and you can take this. When you do finally take this, you will get 50,000 prayer experience and you will get to keep the Holy Cithara. Now, what is this exactly? Well, this is a magic offhand weapon that absolutely can be keepsaked, and personally, I have keepsaked this now because I think it just looks super unique and very, very cool. I had no idea that you could actually take this, so when I found out that you could, hey, I went on there straight away, got myself a keepsake key, and now we have this that we can use. If you don't keepsake this and you keep it in your inventory, you're able to right click it and press play, and then you'll be able to play it for a few seconds, and other players can actually hear this as well. The next 2 items on this list are found in the exact same place after completing the quest Diamond in the Rough. Now, when you do the Diamond in the Rough quest, you go down into a scarab tomb and you go into the Calphite nursery, and you have to navigate your way through some tunnels and stuff and as you go through the quest. However, if you return to the tunnel where you dropped down, there's actually a crack in the floor that you can mine this with 80 mining, and it will open up a fissure. Once you've opened this, you can climb inside and you will have a room with a table in the middle of it. On this table, you'll have the items Was and the Scarab Mask. What exactly is the Was? Well, Was is a wand, and you can use this as a cosmetic override if you wanted to. You could keepsake it, which again I have because it is very unique. It is something that looks kind of like the difference between a staff and a wand. It is only a tier 10 weapon, so it is purely cosmetic at this point pretty much, but you can keepsake this and use it as an override, which is what I've chosen to do. As for the Scarab Mask, it is exactly what you can imagine it is. It is a mask that makes your character look like they have a scarab head, and it is gold, and it is pretty interesting. It's not my cup of tea, but I'm sure some people could make a pretty cool override with this. Next up is the Glowing and the Dark Dagger. Technically this is 2 items, but we're going to count it as 1 because the glowing version is just that. It is a glowing version of the Dark Dagger. You do get these during the Legends quest, and you can retrieve them and keepsake them for some nice cool overrides again, which is where most of these items are going. To retrieve this, you will have to go back to where you got them in the Karazi dungeon and go back to the room with the winch. Now, to get in here is a little bit of a pain in the ass, so listen carefully, as when I was doing this, had to make a few trips. To get through here, you are going to have to 1, get through the actual jungle to begin with, and make your way to the cave entrance. To get to this, just use the wiki link that I'll put in the description, but you want to bring along with you a lockpick and a pickaxe as well. You will also need to be on the standard spellbook or have spellbook swap and the runes to use the charge orb spell. This also means you have to have an unpowered orb with you as well. You need all of this to open all the doors and gates to get through to the correct room so you can actually get the daggers back. I had to do this in like 3 trips. It was a pain in the ass, so I'm going to make sure I let you guys know. Once you've gone into the cave, you will go behind the bookcase, pick the lock on the first door, then force the second door, then use your agility to jump over the wall, and then you will go through the next room through the panel on the wall, and then you will interact with the door to make your character cast the charge orb spell on this door. Once through here, you want to start smashing up the barrels, and once you do this, keep going around the room until you find both the dark dagger and the glowing dagger, unless you only specifically want one of them. As far as I can tell, these are a random drop, but you will be able to get both of them from in here, as you can see me doing on screen now. Again, these are pretty much just overrides, and they are pretty interesting. They are tier 1 weapons, so they're not anything special, but they do look pretty cool. So I'm sure, again, these could be interesting for a lot of people. Next up is the Citharede robes. I don't know. I put this in the text-to-speech thing and it said Cithered, so we'll go with that. These Cithered robes are from the One Piercing Note quest as well, and I probably should have put this at the beginning as well, but it is what it is. You can head back to the Abbey here, the one east of Citharede, and go back into the same basement area, and in this room there is a cabinet that you can search to get these robes. Now, you used this in the actual quest line to trick the person that was pretending to be a Ripper demon. However, you can actually return down here and take these, and they are pretty interesting and fairly unique robes as well. There is a hood, a top, a bottom, and a symbol that all go with this. Now, of course, these can all be keepsaked as well, so I'm sure there'll be some people that find these pretty interesting. However, the robes also have a effect where if you listen to the musicians that are around the world that let you restore your run energy, it will actually restore your prayer points at the same time. How cool is that? Next, we're going to talk about Holy Water. This is an item that counts as a range slot item, and you can keepsake it to override your weapons. However, they are also used against things that are demons. They are good against tormented demons, and it just works like a ranged version of like Darklight. However, to make these, there's quite a lot of things you need to do. You have to get yourself a golden bowl first, and then you also need to get the binding book, which if you've completed the quest to make these anyway, which is the Legends quest, you will be able to get this from your bookcase. So the awkward bit of this is the golden bowl. First of all, you need to go to an anvil and actually craft a gold bowl from 2 gold bars. Then you need to go with a bull roarer, which you can get from your quest chest if you need to, back to the Karazi jungle, and then use this to get the guy to bless it. Once you've done this, you then need to go to the pool, which is in the same jungle, cut one of the reeds and use the reed to fill up the water. Once you've done this, you need to get some regular empty vials and then use the binding book to enchant it. Once it's enchanted, put the holy water in the vials, and you can just do this as much as you want until you have as many as you want. Obviously, if you want to keepsake this and just make it look like you're throwing vials at people, you will only need to make one, so you can use it with that. Next up is the Undead Chicken, but the item. Now, the Undead Chicken is a bagged zombified chicken who can be bought from the ghostly farmer according to the wiki. After completing animal magnetism, you can head to this farmer and trade 10 ecto tokens for this Undead Chicken. It is a melee slot item, and it is just considered a fun weapon apparently. But either way, it's pretty interesting to be able to carry around a Undead Chicken with its head sticking out of a bag as your main hand melee weapon. I don't know, this could be a fun bladed dive thing, you know, if you still use that like me. Next up is the Skull Sceptre. Now, I'm pretty sure that a lot of people will know about this item because it is something that a lot of people will stumble across without even meaning to. This is the scepter that you will get from defeating certain monsters in the Stronghold of Security. It offers some teleports which will take you to the person right outside of the actual stronghold, or it will take you to any of the 4 floors on the stronghold as well. So it can be pretty useful if you say have a Slayer task in there, but otherwise you could keepsake it if you like the look of it and again want to use it as an override. But if you want to find this, you will get the right skull half from killing the Minotaurs on the 1st floor, the bottom of the scepter from killing the flesh crawlers on the 2nd floor, the top of the scepter by killing the Catablipons, which is the big green cow things, on the 3rd floor, and the left skull half is dropped by the Ankus on the 4th floor of the stronghold. So once you've gathered all of these pieces, use the left half skull on the right half skull, and then use the top of the scepter on the bottom scepter, and then use them together to be able to make the scepter. Next up is just a random, interesting, fun item called the Fishbowl Pet. A pet fish may be obtained from Harry's fishing shop in Catherby, says the wiki, and to do this you need to use a tiny net in one of the aquarium fishing spots inside the shop. However, you do need to have a fishbowl with water and seaweed in your inventory. There are 3 different types of fish, and you can get the blue one, the green one, or the orange one, which is called the spine fish. Each of these do have different level requirements. Once you actually have the fish, you can either talk at the fish, play with the fish, or drop it, which will then make you lose the fish because it will break the bowl. And yes, playing with the fish is shaking the bowl around. Poor little fish. Finally, I'm going to mention the items from the Gielinor Games. Now, the Gielinor Games was released in 2012, and it never returned after that. During this event, you could get different versions of an athlete outfit or a torch. Now, you can get the bronze, silver, and gold versions of these, but you could only have got them during this time period. So I'm including this one just in case you guys have it, but completely forgot about it. I never got one of these, but if you do have it, you'll be able to reclaim it from Diango, who is in Drainer, or you can access it from the bank interface, of course, as well. These are pretty cool. The golden torch specifically is the one that I kind of like, which is another melee override item that you can keepsake if you wanted to, but it just looks pretty cool. I don't know, you could definitely make some interesting things with this, and it has some very interesting effects as well. For anyone who does actually own any of this outfit, or even the torch as well, leave a comment down below and let me know. I'd be interested in seeing how many of you guys actually did this event in 2012. And there we go, there is 10 items that are pretty damn unknown in game, or maybe people have forgotten about, or there's probably likely that most people didn't know all of these. I'm sure there's some people that knew every single one of them because you just know everything about the game, but most of these items on this list I have interacted with at some point, but didn't even consider them to be something I can either go and reclaim or get them and actually use them. While making this video, I have even keepsaked some of them to use as regular overrides, so I literally had no idea that they could be obtained. If there was anything in this list that you didn't know about, please do leave a like on the video. Also subscribe to the channel if you enjoy this sort of content. If you want to get some more content, then head over to my Patreon, which will be linked in the description, where you can get some Patreon only content while supporting the channel by throwing $1 over there. With that being said, channel members and Patreon subscribers right now, guys, I appreciate the support on the channel so freaking much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Your names will have been running through the outro here, so it is very much appreciated. Otherwise, thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate every single one of you too, and I'll catch you all in the next one. See you later, guys. Bye.